Did you know your bones are silently crumbling away? Bone density loss that starts in your 30s accelerates dramatically in your 50s, leading to serious osteoporosis. But here's amazing news the latest research reveals. You can naturally increase bone density with the right foods and exercises alone. Even doctors are amazed by these methods that can strengthen bones without medications. People diagnosed with osteoporosis on bone density tests have recovered to normal ranges using these approaches. What I'm about to reveal will completely transform your bone health. The shocking truth about bone density loss. Most people think osteoporosis is simply calcium deficiency. But much more complex mechanisms are at work. Bones are living tissue that constantly creates new bone, while breaking down old bone daily. The problem is that after age 30, bone breakdown accelerates faster than bone formation. Women experience bone density drops of 2 to 3% annually after menopause. Due to estrogen decline, men also gradually lose bone density from their 50s. Due to testosterone reduction. More seriously, bone density loss progresses without symptoms. Fracture risk only appears after bones weaken by more than 30%. Modern lifestyle accelerates bone density loss. Prolonged sitting, processed food diets, chronic stress, and insufficient sleep all threaten bone health. Particularly, carbonated drinks, excessive caffeine, smoking, and heavy drinking are major culprits rapidly dropping bone density. However, hopeful news is that bones are far more adaptable than we think. With proper stimulation and nutrition, you can increase bone density. Even with aging, scientific evidence proves even people diagnosed with osteoporosis can naturally strengthen their bones. Essential nutrients for bone density increase. Calcium alone isn't enough. Multiple nutrients must work harmoniously for bone health. Understanding each nutrient's role and optimal intake maximizes effectiveness. Calcium is the major bone component, but absorption is the issue. Generally, only 20 to 30% of consumed calcium gets absorbed. Absorption rates drop further with age. Therefore, consuming calcium with other nutrients that aid absorption is crucial. Vitamin D plays a key role in calcium absorption. Without adequate vitamin D, no amount of calcium intake will accumulate in bones. Research showing 90% of Koreans are vitamin D deficient supports this. Daily sunlight exposure of 15 minutes plus vitamin D-rich foods is essential. Vitamin K2 acts like a traffic signal directing calcium to proper locations. K2 deficiency causes calcium to accumulate in blood vessels rather than bones, increasing cardiovascular disease risk. K2 intake from fermented foods is essential for bone density increase. Magnesium forms bone structure together with calcium. The ideal calcium to magnesium ratio is 2 to 1. Magnesium deficiency prevents proper calcium utilization, having bone density improvement effects. Protein is also essential for bone health. 30% of bone tissue consists of collagen protein. Protein deficiency reduces bone flexibility, increasing fracture risk. Consuming 1.2 grams of quality protein per kilogram of body weight is recommended. Powerhouse foods that boost bone density. Now I'll reveal specific foods that increase bone density. These foods don't just provide calcium, but comprehensively supply various nutrients needed for bone health. First is anchovies. Though small fish, they're supreme for bone density increase. 100 grams of anchovies contains 972 milligrams of calcium, exceeding daily recommendations. More importantly, anchovy calcium has very high absorption rates. Calcium from whole small fish absorbs better than dairy products. Second is sesame seeds. Sesame contains not only calcium but abundant magnesium, phosphorus, and zinc. Particularly, sesame's sesamin component has dual effects of inhibiting bone resorption while promoting bone formation. 1 tablespoon of sesame daily can significantly increase bone density. Third is bok choy. Among green leafy vegetables, bok choy has particularly high calcium content, with 105 milligrams of calcium per 100 grams. plus rich vitamin K. It simultaneously promotes calcium absorption and bone formation. Also, low oxalate content doesn't interfere with calcium absorption. Fourth is tofu, rich in plant protein and isoflavones. Tofu is especially effective for women's bone density increase. Isoflavones act similarly to estrogen, suppressing rapid bone density loss after menopause. High calcium content provides dual benefits. Fifth is salmon. As a representative vitamin D-rich food, salmon greatly enhances calcium absorption. Omega-3 fatty acids also suppress inflammation to protect bone health. Eating salmon twice weekly can effectively increase bone density. Sixth is nuts. Almonds, walnuts, and Brazil nuts are rich in magnesium, phosphorus, and protein. Particularly, Brazil nuts selenium provides powerful antioxidant action improving bone metabolism. 30 grams of nuts daily is ideal. Seventh is natto. Made from fermented soybeans, natto is extremely rich in vitamin K2. K2 is a key nutrient helping calcium settle in bones, explaining why Japanese people who consume much natto have high bone density. Revolutionary exercise methods for bone density. Food alone isn't enough. Bones only strengthen when stimulated. Bone's characteristic is creating new bone tissue in response to gravity and muscle pulling. Therefore, appropriate exercise is essential for bone density increase. Most effective is resistance training. Weight training or elastic band exercises significantly increase bone density, particularly excellent for spine and hip bone density increase. Just 20 minutes 3 times weekly can produce noticeable bone density increases within 6 months. Impact exercises are also important. Jumping, stair climbing, and brisk walking provide appropriate bone impact to increase density. However, gradually increase intensity without straining joints. Balance exercises are particularly important for fracture prevention. Yoga, Tai Chi, and single leg stands develop balance and reduce fall risk. Even with low bone density, avoiding falls prevents fractures. Among strength exercises, spinal extension exercises are especially important. Modern people's hunched posture accelerates spine bone density loss. Back muscle strengthening exercises can straighten the spine while increasing bone density. Step-by-step bone density increase program. Here's a systematic 12-week program for bone density increase. Following this program safely and effectively increases bone density. Weeks 1 to 4 are the adaptation phase. Start with light weights or bodyweight exercises. Perform squats, lunges, and push-ups for 10 repetitions, 3 sets each. Simultaneously begin including bone density foods in your diet. Weeks 5 to 8 are the strengthening phase. Increase exercise intensity and add dumbbell or barbell exercises. Include full body exercises like deadlifts and overhead presses. Increase to 12 repetitions, 3 sets per exercise. Weeks 9 to 12 are the optimization phase. Adjust exercise intensity to individual fitness levels and utilize various exercise techniques. Add plyometric exercises for greater bone stimulation. Schedule 2 rest days weekly to allow muscle and bone recovery time. Excessive exercise can actually cause bone density loss, making adequate rest important. During the program, periodically measure weight, strength, and flexibility to track progress. After 12 weeks, bone density testing can objectively confirm improvement levels. Hidden enemies that destroy bone density. You must know the hidden enemies that undermine bone density building efforts. Without avoiding these, even the best foods and exercises will have reduced effectiveness. The first enemy is chronic inflammation. Chronic inflammation from stress, sleep deprivation, and processed food consumption promotes bone resorption while suppressing bone formation. Anti-inflammatory food intake and stress management are essential. The second is excessive acidic food consumption. Meat, processed foods, and carbonated drinks acidify the body. The body neutralizes acidity by extracting calcium from bones. Balance must be maintained with alkaline vegetables and fruits. The third is excessive caffeine. More than 300 milligrams of caffeine Daily interferes with calcium absorption and increases calcium excretion. Limit coffee to 2 cups daily and drink with calcium-rich milk or almond milk. The fourth is smoking and heavy drinking. Nicotine suppresses osteoblast activity, while alcohol interferes with calcium and magnesium absorption. Smoking cessation in moderation are essential conditions for bone density increase. The fifth is sedentary lifestyle. Sitting more than 8 hours daily fails to provide adequate bone stimulation, accelerating bone density loss. Moving every 30 minutes and using stairs instead of elevators are important habits. For more information about bone density increase, please subscribe and hit the notification bell to never miss our latest health updates. Join us on the journey to create a vibrant life with healthy bones.